All right, let's get you guys all caught up with the breaking news of Jets QB1 Justin Fields going down in practice and having to be carted off the field with our Jets beat writer for the Post, Brian Costello. Kaz, thanks for hopping on in such short notice. I feel like the Jets have been doing everything right up to this point. So, can you kind of talk to us about what you saw on the play? You were out there at practice, and what have you heard about the injury? Ian Rappaport kind of reported that it's a dislocated toe.
Yeah, Brandon. I mean, he was rolling out. There really was it was nondescript play. None of us really realized he was hurt until you saw him limping off. They think maybe he got stepped on by a teammate, but it really, it wasn't dramatic. He wasn't on the ground or anything like that, rolling around, or what we've seen from different injuries in the past. Then he was over in a tent with the doctors for a while, and they took his shoe off. They were looking at it. We didn't know if it was an ankle or what it was at that point, but ends up it's his toe. And then, when we say carted off, we should clarify like the car came over, he was in the passenger seat of the cart and they drove him to the building, which is a pretty good walk from the practice field. So this isn't like sometimes you see when you hear carted off, you think, oh, they had to bring the cart out to the middle of the field and put a guy in the back. That wasn't like this. He was kind of just catching a lift and he limped into the building. So I do think all things considered, uh, it seems pretty encouraging. The Jets are doing more tests before they say exactly what it is, but there's no reason to doubt Ian Rappaport's report that it's a dislocated toe. Which, if that's the case, he's going to be out probably for a little while, but it's not something that's going to go into the season.
Or do you think it's too early to kind of talk about who they could bring in if Fields is going to miss some significant amount of time? I know Tyrod Taylor is a veteran backup.
Yeah.
He's been in the league for a long time, but Brady Cook has no NFL experience. So, what do you think? What do you think the Jets do if Justin Fields does have to miss some time here?
Yeah, the indications right are that this is not going to be something where he misses time in the season. So I think that's a different story than, if he's just missing training camp or time during training camp. I think they'll go with what they have and maybe add one more guy just to have a camp arm, but not someone who's fighting for the starting job. They have Adrian Martinez also here, who was on the Jets last year and who was in Detroit, so he knows the system. So I think they could get through training camp with Tyrod Taylor, Adrian Martinez, Brady Cook, and maybe one more guy to take some snaps. But to me, that this isn't, like significant injury enough right now where they have to think about bringing in someone to be a starting quarterback.
So I know it's only been a small sample size, but during the spring, how did Tyrod Taylor look in this new offense? This offense is built around Justin Fields' skill set. They're kind of similar in the way they play, but do you think Tanner Engstrand is going to have to tweak the offense any?
I don't think they're going to tweak anything in the preseason. I have a feeling that they weren't going to show much anyway, and he's going to they'll go through. I mean, look, Tyrod Taylor is a 14-year veteran. He throws a really nice football. He he's fun to watch in practice. Like he makes good throws. He gets the ball out of his hand quick. So I think they're comfortable with him as the backup right now, and obviously they kept him from last year. And so to me. I think they're going to be content with where they are right now, and this isn't an injury that's serious enough where they're making big changes at this point to the playbook or anything else. The question to me, more Brandon, is just what Justin Fields is missing right now and how much time he's going to miss. This was his first year in the offense, and he needed this time in training camp to get up to speed and to get used to the offense and get on the same page with Tanner Engstrand. Now he's losing valuable time. I'm also wondering, a toe injury, even if it's not serious, can linger. Does this affect his running ability when the season gets here? He's a different type of quarterback. If it was just a drop back passer, I don't think you're very worried about a toe. But Fields' mobility is his superpower, and so does this affect him at all? I think that's probably what the Jets are worried about right now.
Guys, how'd the offense look after Fields went down for the rest of practice?
Yeah, it's hard to say, Brandon, because I kind of was in a fog for the, I wasn't really locked in on what the offense was doing. I was just trying to figure out what we just saw. But I thought that, there was no noticeable difference. That they weren't terrible or anything. I think the defense won the day, but they made some plays. I thought their Fields made a really nice pass down the seam to Garrett Wilson. That one they had some nice plays, but it was just kind of once Fields went down, that was really the story of the day. We knew that was the story of the day, and that's where all the attention went.
All right, Kaz. Well, thanks for making yourself available, man. Appreciate you.
No problem, Brandon. Thanks for having me.